Alright everyone, we have a special video right now. We have to talk about the Ministry of Truth that Biden implemented, of course, many moons ago. And of course, Jackowicz, she resigned. She's no longer part of that. There was a Taylor Lorenz article, no less, dealing with the situation. Oh my god, she got bullied. And now the Ministry of Truth is on hold. The Disinformation Governance Board actually is its official name, but really it's a 1984-style Ministry of Truth. The whole proposition is to go after free speech online, to go after encryption, as we will see with one of the two people that I'm going to be referring to in this video. The writing is on the wall. It's fairly clear what this actually represents. It has nothing to do with combating disinformation. It has nothing to do with evil Russia, evil China, evil foreign influence. What we were told by DHS actually was that by various people was that the entire premise was we're not looking at Americans' communications or anything like that. That's not the focus of the Ministry of Truth. The focus was going to be on combating foreign influence, disinformation from Russia and from other sources. I pointed out weeks ago when this first broke that it was impossible to do that without at least analyzing domestic information, because the whole point is that disinformation is spawned in a foreign country. Unless it permeates into the domestic population, that is, it's spread around from person to person within the US or some other country in the West, there's no need to analyze it. It's not viral. It's not influencing anyone. Even if it is disinformation in the most literal sense, it's not going anywhere. It's just a couple of Russians that are having a jolly. Some Chinese agents have decided to make a meme, and nobody is spreading it in the West, so it doesn't really matter. You have no choice but to look into Americans' communications at a minimum, and to potentially censor them at a maximum, and that would be the whole point. That's the whole point of why the Ministry of Truth is a bad idea. Now, there are two individuals that have been chosen now to head an interim sort of reworking of this Ministry of Truth. I want to point out first that these individuals are not actually heading a Ministry of Truth. It is still on pause. What they're attempting to do is look into, number one, I guess, why it failed, number two, the scope of its project, and they're trying to rework it and rebrand it and then pitch it to the American people a second time. We defeated Jackowicz. We defeated the initial abuse that would have been caused by such a group actually existing under DHS. We need to meme even harder. So here are the two individuals who have been chosen for it, Michael Chertoff and Jamie Gorelick. Probably some of you have heard of one or both of these individuals. I'm going to get into a little bit, and I've archived their Wikipedia articles down below. I'll even pin them in a comment if you're watching on YouTube. There are links in the description as well, to the main story archived, of course, as well as to the archived wiki articles. I have no doubt that Wikipedia will be influenced into running cover for these individuals by restructuring their articles, because there's some damning stuff in there. I'm going to read it verbatim. I've actually got notes, and I almost never do that for videos, just so that I can refer to this without going through the entire wiki articles. Wikipedia, you'll remember, is biased. It's not really reliable. But there's enough damning material in here that if Wikipedia, that is a neoliberal globalist website at this point that's been disowned by one of its main co-founders, if they're putting this material in here, just imagine how bad these two individuals actually are, like in real life, if you were to properly analyze them. Anyway, I'm going to go through this. This is Michael Chertoff. Here's a few screeds about him. Michael Chertoff is an American attorney who was the second United States Secretary of Homeland Security to serve under President George W. Bush. There's reason to believe that the Bushes and the neoliberals are basically the same. Unmedicated individuals knew this some time ago. Chertoff also served for one additional day under President Barack Obama, so he's under the Obama administration too. He was the co-author of the USA Patriot Act. Interesting. So the Patriot Act's co-author is going to be reviewing the Ministry of Truth. This is supposed to make us feel better about this auspice under DHS, just so that you're aware. Since leaving government service, Chertoff has worked as a senior of counsel at the Washington, D.C. law firm of Covington and Burling. Here are two of the groups that Covington and Burling have represented. Halliburton, oh, that's Dick Cheney's brothers and sisters over there, the arms dealers. And Blackwater. Oh, you know, the biggest merc firm in Iraq. The ones that several of their mercs got dragged onto a bridge and burned alive at one point because they were raping people. The ones that renamed themselves several times and now call themselves Zay because Blackwater became a blacklisted term and nobody wanted to do business with them. Mercenaries. Arms dealers. Okay, wonderful. Great qualifications for determining the truth of the internet. By the way, link to Hurricane Katrina. Here's another screed from down below. Again, links in the description. They're archived, of course. Hurricane Katrina occurred while Chertoff was Secretary of Homeland Security. I remember this. I do, as a millennial. The department was criticized for its lack of preparation in advance of the well-forecast hurricane. Most criticism was directed towards the Federal Emergency Management Agency, DHS in general, and Chertoff in particular. He was carpetbagged by the W administration. Were criticized for responding poorly to the disaster. That's what happens when the head of this particular sub-agency is carpetbagged into place, not because they know anything about natural disasters or responding to anything like that, but they've been carpetbagged in there because they're doing deals with Halliburton. And that's really what this is about. So there's Michael Chertoff. Sounds like a wonderful guy, right? Somehow Gorelick is worse. Let's get into her. Gorelick served on British Petroleum's Advisory Council as their top legal counsel after the 2010 Deepwater Horizon oil spill. Interesting. I wonder how many leftoids are going to criticize the advisory board on disinformation now. Yeah, BP's advisory council head. That's wonderful. While serving as Deputy Attorney General under Bill Clinton, Gorelick spoke in favor of banning the use of strong encryption and called for a key escrow system to allow the federal government access to encrypted communication. Yeah, this is going to be great for free speech online. This is definitely a free speech warrior. Gorelick, and this one, I don't really have a problem with it, but I think like Trump fans in general will, number one, and leftoids, number two, would definitely have a problem with this. This is actually surprising, and I didn't know this originally, although I knew of Gorelick before from the BP thing. I didn't know about this, and I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit of a problem to explain this away. Gorelick represented Jared Kushner, by the way, is also adjacent to Manafort, the son-in-law of Donald Trump, as he considered a possible role in the White House. She had advised Kushner, who has sprawling financial interests in a multi-million-dollar global real estate empire, on how he might comply with federal ethics and anti-nepotism laws. Of course, maneuvered them successfully. So, thanks, Gorelick, I suppose, if you're a Kushner fan. Kushner is not well liked by populists, maybe by neocons. They don't have a problem with it, because he pays lip service to globalism. I can't imagine the liberals would care. If you're a leftist, are you really happy about the fact that the Ministry of Truth, that initially was going to be fielded by an individual who was extreme far left, is now being reformed by Chertoff and Gorelick? Again, adjacent to both Manafort and Kushner, number one. Manafort actually convicted of something. Working for BP, working for Blackwater and Halliburton. Yeah, they had 2004 called, and it wants its nepotism back. This is surreal. The fact, by the way, in the internet era, that they think that they're going to get away with doing this and not get memed to death. If Jackowicz, I realize she's cringy, extreme far left, way out there, just completely nuts. If you think that Chertoff and Gorelick, the suit-wearing neocon Bushite class of political wonks and lawyers, are not going to get similarly memed, what hope is there for you? My God. I've never seen such an inept move in my life. Just retire the Ministry of Truth horseshit, get rid of it, defund it, abolish it completely, get rid of DHS preferably, although we know that that's not going to happen no matter what administration comes next, and leave it alone. There's no need for it. There is no systemic disinformation online. You're taking someone who was the co-author of the Patriot Act, smooshing them in with a person who represented Jared Kushner. I can't imagine that there's anybody in the country that would look at these two individuals and not have a problem with at least one of them, and probably both. This has got to be one of the strangest moves, actually, so far that the Biden administration has made. Again, they are not heading the Ministry of Truth. They're attempting to reform it. Again, a Halliburton lawyer represented Blackwater, and an individual working for British Petroleum. Yeah, that sounds, by the way, really progressive. Extreme handout to the AOC and Rashida Tlaib fans. This is going to be a doozy, I have a feeling. That's about all. Peace out.